In this video, I'm going to show you another use for a Ridgid tool. The cable that we're going to use is either 3.5 or 5.5 based on the design of these two connections. The cable I have does not have yellow, and I'm sure it's not 2.0. So it's probably the 3.5 or the 5.5. Considering I have a new baby girl in the house, we got this Graco Duetconnnect LX swing, and when I was putting it together I noticed it had a barrel connector on it for the power, and I thought, I have a USB Ridgid adapter for my Ridgid 18-volt batteries. Plus I also had a cable, one of the two that I just showed you, for another project that I had. So I thought I'm going to get that cable and get my Ridgid adapter and hook them up and see if this thing will work. And it does. So here we go. We've got a 4-amp battery, fully charged with the USB adapter on the top. This is a 5-volt, 2.1 amp adapter. And I have that cable that I showed you. It plugs in down here on the bottom. Now there's also a regular power adapter that came with it that has a barrel connector as well. But I'm showing you this because you might not be in a situation where it's easy to run a power cord. Maybe you've got Ridgid equipment already and you want to just use your Ridgid equipment. So there we go. So we press the button, the light turns on. Some of these USB adapters have a light in the button and some do not. And also, with this USB adapter, it turns on for 8 hours. So when you press that button, you got power for 8 hours or until the battery is depleted. At that point, all you have to do is either press the button again, or if you know you're going to need more power for longer and it hasn't reached the 8 hours, you just take it, click it off, click it back on, and press the button again, and you're good for another 8 hours. So it takes a little bit for the swing to get going. Also has music. So you have different speed controls here. And it'll just slowly start moving faster and faster. Takes a little bit to get going. There we go. I'd say that's working pretty good right now. I'm going to redo this test with a 9 amp octane battery. It may not make a difference, but it might. Might get up to speed a little quicker, and then I'm going to do another test with my baby girl in the seat. Alright, now I have my 9 amp fully charged. As I said before, press the button, boom, power. Let's turn this control all the way up. It's not clicking. There you go. I can hear the motor. See if you can hear it. The motor's stopping. Let me do a little experiment here. I wonder if the octane battery has an issue with this. Let's go ahead and swap back to the 4 amp. Okay. I hear the motor clicking. Let's see if a lower setting works better. So right now we're on setting number 3. Well, sounds like that motor's continuing. It's not stopping like the octane battery. Now, I've noticed the octane battery seems to have a hard time charging a cell phone. A cell phone will charge better on a non-octane battery with the adapter. Good morning, Liberty Hope. You've already been up for a while. I got you sitting in here for a little bit, getting ready to do some laundry for you. So today is December 29th. You are 20 days old. Look at all the activity. You're shaking and moving your legs, and you've been up. It is 8:50 in the morning, and you've been up wide awake since about 6 a.m., which is a little unusual. Normally you're awake 30, 45 minutes, and then you go back to sleep. But you've been very active. And we've been listening to music, a lot of 80s music, a little bit of classical. And then we were listening to this classical version of Metallica's Enter Sandman. And it sounded really neat, but you seem to maybe be a little concerned by it because you started hiccuping halfway through it, which is kind of unusual for you. Usually you start hiccuping after you've eaten. So we're going to have to revisit that and see if the hiccuping happens down the road again, listening to that classical version of that song. So a little bit later this morning, we're going to go to the store because we got to get more wipes and I got to get more diapers. Hey, we got a few things in the house. Some people donated to us. I'm going to do a little walkthrough here. So, some friends from church gave us this little rack dryer yesterday. And they also gave us this little tree thing, which is kind of neat. I guess you're supposed to like hang stuff on it like that, maybe. So, alright. Of course, here's our notes. We keep notes of all our feedings and sleep and diaper changing and all that. And here's some more things that some friends from church got us. They got us like pacifiers and things. And this is some other stuff we got. We got a portable little playpen. And then we also got this swing, which I put together last night. And it's right there, which is really neat. You can turn it on and start rocking back and forth. Isn't that neat? Hey, it also plays some music. So it's got some classical music in it, but then it's also got this little button that looks like a little bird. And it starts out sounding like running water. Close to the speaker, I think it's under here. Oh boy. Okay. Let's go. Gotta go check on you. So there you go. That's the new swing. Alright, the first day of use. That's my best effort, using my hand to track with the swing.
So what's up with the song that you asked me to ask Jessica? Why don't you send her a text and ask her yourself?
Well, she can read it. So this morning, we were listening to music, her and I found this instrumental version of, it's kind of, they started out doing like violin and guitar of like a classical song. And then they kind of branched into Metallica's Inner Sandman using the same equipment. Mm-hmm. And in the middle of it, she started hiccuping. So I don't know if that meant she didn't like it.
No, she just had hiccups.
But it had been a while since she'd eaten. So she doesn't normally just start hiccuping. Not for me.
Like the music? Is that why you want me to ask Jessica?
No, I wanted Jessica to take a listen to it. See if she liked it. But anyway, I've already listened to it. Alright, so we have the first day of use for Liberty in the swing. Put this together last night. So the controls are up here. We have music, and then this button here, which looks like a bird, is like water running, and it goes through a cycle of different things. And I'm assuming one of them is going to be a bird chirping. And this is the controls for the speed of the swinging. So she's been up all morning since about 6 a.m. She just went to sleep about 30 minutes ago, and it is 10 a.m. So from 6 to 9:30, she's been awake.
Yay.
And the first hour and a half, she was wide awake. We were listening to music, getting her familiar with 80s music, Michael Jackson, Foreigner, Billy Idol. We were listening to We Are the World last night, and she fell asleep listening to it. So, getting her familiar with music. And then this morning, one of the other things we're listening to is a classical version of Enter Sandman by Metallica. Though she started hiccuping in the middle of it, so I don't know if that meant she didn't like it or she just happened to start hiccuping. So the specs on this power adapter for the swing is 5 volts, 1000 milliamps. Let me see if I can zoom in. Nope, it didn't like that. Let me see what I can do here. Even if you can't see it. And it does not like focusing. But it is 5 volts, 1000 milliamps, which is 1 amp. 5 volts is what we get from the USB adapter. And this adapter is 2.1 amps, which should be 2100 milliamps. So this adapter should provide all the power that the swing needs. So I have this USB meter. I'll plug the meter in. Alright, so now we're going to plug in the Ridgid. I can hear it trying to move. It is swinging a little bit. It's not drawing a whole lot of power. Okay, now it's starting to swing a little harder. Hey there, baby girl. I unplugged it briefly, and it slowed down. Alright, well now it's starting to get some motion to it. My test yesterday, in the earlier part of this video, I was having a problem getting it to move with the USB adapter. So what I'm seeing here is this thing draws even less than 1000 milliamps. Its peak looks like it's drawing maybe 300 milliamps. So it appears it's working now. Alright, there's my little baby girl. What's up, girl? She sleeps a lot. In this video, she is 20 days old. So in this second test, it does appear that the Ridgid adapter is functioning with this. does not appear that it's always drawing power or a large amount. It's probably pulling a lot when it's trying to move it, but whenever it's in the middle of its swinging function, it's not drawing quite as much. Let's plug this back in. Let's see if we get any more movement out of it. Look at this here. All right, we're currently set on 3, which is halfway. Let's do an experiment. Let's set it to 6. Sounds like it's working harder, trying to get it swinging faster. Okay, I think we might be getting a little bit more movement out of it now that it's on 6. Looks like we're peaking at about 300 milliamps. We're going to try a 9 amp battery and see if there's any difference in power. I doubt it because we're not even coming close to the max of this USB adapter. See, if we were close to the max, the I for current, we'd be seeing like 2.00. 2.10 would be maximum output for this adapter. But we'll see what we get here. I'm going to swap batteries. So the existing battery we've been testing with is a 4 amp. And it is fully charged. Now we're moving to the 9 amp, which is also fully charged. Oh, and by the way, if you've got one of these that, I don't know if you can see it, see how it says CS 1822? The 18 is the year, 2018, and the 22 is the 22nd week. I've seen a ton of these 18s have the Bluetooth function. Right there, that Bluetooth function doesn't even work right on them. In fact, all of my Bluetooth batteries, they're not even reliable at connecting to the app. Hopefully Ridgid will fix that. Alright. Slide off, slide on. Now we're on the 9 amp. Oop, something happened. The motor stopped pushing. Nope. Must be something about the octane batteries that don't work quite right with the USB adapters, because whenever I use an octane battery with this adapter or any one of them, I've got a bunch, trying to charge a cell phone, the cell phone keeps turning charge on and off, on and off, on and off. But that doesn't happen on the 4 amps, the 2 amps, any non-octane battery. It works fine. Alright, now that I swap back to the non-octane battery, I can hear the motor starting to push the swing left and right. Yeah, the swing's starting to move further and further every swing now. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so it appears if you have this swing and you got your Ridgid batteries, or even if you got one of these USB adapters, it'll operate the swing as long as it's a non-octane battery. So I'm going to continue this test, and I'm going to let this battery run for a while. Like I said earlier, whenever you press the start button on this adapter, you get 8 hours of runtime, of charge time, use time, whatever, or until the battery dies. So we're going to revisit this a little bit later. Alright, so I've been letting it run. I set it on 6, which is... Alright, so I've been checking on it every 5 minutes or so, and little girl's still sleeping. She does that a lot at 20 days old. The swing stopped moving. Oh, we're getting a little squeal out of her. The swing stopped moving when we were on setting number 5. So now I moved it to setting number 4, and it does seem to be continuing. So we're going to keep letting it go for a while. It's been on setting 4 now for probably 5 minutes. Okay, it's been about another 5 minutes, and setting number 4, still working fine. I'm going to keep watching it. Alright, came back about 10 minutes later. Little girl's still sleeping, and it stopped moving. On 4, and the light is on. Oh, did my talking wake you up? Look at little feet. They're about the size of my thumb. Yeah, cute little toes. Okay. I'm going to set it to 3. So this test really isn't looking that good for using a Ridgid USB adapter on this device. Even though the specs of the adapter that comes with it is actually less than the full specs of the Ridgid adapter. According to the specs of the Ridgid adapter, it should totally be able to handle this. And I'm not sure why it doesn't. I mean, it's not maxing it out at all according to the meter. See? Not even close to maxing out the adapter.